Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Three Man Weave's Best Bets show here on this fine Saturday morning. It's Spinny Saturday. Hopefully, Matt will go find his spinny hat. I'm sure it's around his desk
New one has been
somewhere.
ordered, Jim. New one
Okay,
is
okay,
in the
all right.
mail.
On the way. So Matt's going to have it hopefully in time for Conference Tournament Saturday, Selection Sunday, March Madness, because you need to. It's Spinny Day. We had a big Friday of hoops last night, actually. Kai, the 31-0 Miami Redhawks sealed the deal with another overtime win at Ohio. I was excited about it. Some people less so, but I just think it's fun to have a 31-0 team. What do you say?
I did too. That was my takeaway, Jim. Stop being weird, people. They should be in. Stephen A. Smith doesn't need to weigh in, but it's obvious they should be in.
God.
Bruce Pearl
Oh wait,
tweet.
what was his take?
It's ridiculous if you leave this team out.
Oh
30 and
good.
0, come on.
Oh
He's
boy.
like, he
Stephen A
hasn't
knows
watched college
ball.
basketball here.
Stephen A knows ball. It's the right take,
Bruce
Steve.
Pearl weighing in, of course, acting like he's happy for him. He's not. Seth Davis, of course, weighing in, saying he didn't appreciate that Peter Suter like waved to the crowd and taunted them. No, that's competitiveness, Matthew. That's college basketball. Live it up, man. You don't have to be holier than thou 24/7 in your life. Live it up. These kids did a great job. Miami of Ohio. Welcome to the tournament.
Yeah, Seth Davis has bad takes.
Oh
That's
yeah,
kind of a recurring theme.
real bad
Like
takes.
are they gonna be like a 10 if they lose, are they like 11? If they win the
Well,
conference tournament, are they gonna be like a
if
9?
they win the
8?
conference tournament, they could be 9, 10.
It
Hot
just depends
take?
what they do with their predictives are so bad. Their quality
Yeah,
metrics are
Yeah.
so
yeah.
bad.
I say 10 if they win the conference tournament. 11
You'd
if they
rather
lose.
be a 10 than a 8 this year. That's just
Yes,
my
Oh
humble
yeah.
opinion.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I'd rather
Don't
be
know
an
how you can
11
rope
than
it
an
open
8.
to that, but yeah. Or 11, yeah,
Much rather
exactly.
be an 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all we got. Yeah,
Matthew, any
Miami.
other
Go
takeaways?
Hogs.
Yeah. All right. I'm just concerned about UCF. I don't know what they're doing. They are circling the drain after they blew out BYU. But that is neither here nor there. Let's talk Saturday. We've got a great day of hoops. Sub 100 games today. Only 92. You kidding me,
Nice.
college basketball? Lazy, lazy stuff. Let's get into the outline, starting off with the first NCAA tournament bid to be punched. Maybe. There's a chance the NEC clinches before because if Mercyhurst makes the final and then Wagner LIU is for the title. But we're going to talk OVC championship because it's the actual only championship game today. Kai, you and I, before we got live on air, lamented the SEMO collapse, and Morehead State finds their way into the title game. They have been kissed by the basketball gods this year, but they are now 5-point underdogs to Tennessee State, who has taken money all morning. I think it was like three at one point. Total of 146. What's standing out to you in this one?
Well, I didn't think either team would be here preseason, so surprising. Nolan Smith about to shove it in our faces. Of course, gave him guff for not understanding analytics, but he has the most talented team in the OVC, and he's certainly done a pretty good job this season with that talented roster. Morehead's wild. They were so bad to start the year. I just cannot believe they're in this position. So game wise, these teams split during the regular season. Morehead's hot. They've won 8 in a row. Maybe they're touched by a little bit of Miami of Ohio magic, as you kind of alluded to. They can exploit the free throw line. They can exploit the offensive glass. It's going to be a lot of scoring, most likely, in this game. Two of the best offenses in the OVC. I think the talent wins out, Matthew. But gosh, if this spread keeps going up, championship game, I would lean towards the dog at 5 or above.
I still like Tennessee State here. I kind of like them first half more so. They've had this penchant for making crazy comebacks. And I will give Maddox credit. They will junk it up defensively. In Tennessee State, it's all about transition. Like you just have to make them play in the half court because they are pretty lethal in transition. They are, as you said, the most talented team in this, I would say, talent depleted conference. With all due respect to our OVC brethren, just try to be nice. Still upset about SEMO, man. Like, come on, you had that like just likability factor. Maybe I'm biased because we're from St. Louis, Kai. I like Tennessee State, Jim. It's a best bet for me.
Best bet.
I'm
At five? At
at
five?
5. I'm just trying to think if I want to lock that in. Given that, I guess
Or
I will
first
not. I'll,
half?
I'll 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 hold back for now. First half, I will commit to because I am on that at minus 3. So, and I think that's
Okay.
the current number. Correct. I got a bad first half number. That was stupid, Matt. Yeah, first half Tennessee State best bet for me.
Okay. Yeah, I wrote this up briefly this morning for Action Network, turned it around quick, and that's where I landed. This team is better. They're more athletic. The pressure, I think, should get to Morehead State. They got up early in both games, and Morehead kind of fought back, battled back, forced overtime in one, and actually came out and won the other one at home. But the length, I can't believe Dante Harris is still in college. A 2021 Big East tournament hero is like a key figure for this. It's 2021, Kai. That's right. Is
At
a key
Dante
figure.
Harris?
Yeah,
That Dante
Georgetown.
Harris is
Georgetown
Tennessee
fans are like,
State's point
what?
guard. He was at Memphis last year, came with Nolan Smith, somehow has the extra year of eligibility because he had a redshirt year in there.
Yeah.
But it's him and then a bunch of like 6'6", 6'5", 6'8" guys that can all move. And I think they will win the shot volume battle here with turnovers. And God, Morehead's awful on the defensive glass. So I'd side towards Tennessee State too. My limit was -5 in the write-up. Not going to be a best bet here. I wrote it when it was 3.5, and it just keeps going up, up, up and away. All right, let's move on to the big boys. The ACL Bowl, as I'm calling it, sadly, sorry to Richie Saunders and JT Toppin. Texas Tech headed to BYU, two teams that lost their last game, but they have kind of gone in different directions, Matthew, since their respective injuries. Texas Tech 3-1, BYU, God, it's a disaster. A 10 seed in the Big 12 tournament right now, but they are laying 2.5 at home, high total 159.5. What say you, Matthias, on this one?
Very torn here. I think gut says Tech wins this game. I don't think the loss against TCU is like oh no, the cracks are starting to show. I just think that was just a tough spot, and TCU we know has been sort of cockroachy against these big boys, and actually kind of a bad matchup too with the way they're constructed. BYU, I just don't know. It just feels like this team is not checked out, but flatlining, led by two guys that are clearly going to be playing elsewhere next season, and a supporting cast that is grasping for straws without Richie Saunders, who, as we talked about, is kind of the rah-rah emotional lightning rod for that team. I think they miss him. I lean Tech here. I'm selfishly hoping they lose for some future purposes, but I do think Tech wins today, Kai. No bet though.
Was trying to figure out what the implications were of this game. I think Tech's locked into the 3 seed if they win. BYU 10th now, but I think they can get higher. I don't know the tiebreaker situations. There's a big mess of 9-9 teams in the Big 12. Regardless, Jim mentioned it. Cougars are 1-4 without Saunders. Their last 3 losses too have not been against the big dogs. It's been Cincy, West Virginia, and UCF. Although they did beat Iowa State, they got back on the horse a little bit. But Iowa State's been another mess all entirely. Toppin, of course, yes, big deal. Texas Tech finally lost a game without him against TCU. Game 1 now, it's not really relevant between these two teams because those guys are out. Toppin had 27 and 13 against BYU. I have a slightly into Tech, Jim, as well with Matt in BYU's current state, but I have no clue who's going to guard AJ DeBanza for BYU. I think it's going to be a huge, huge matchup problem for them.
Yeah, and he's scoring, I think I said on stats this week, like 40% of their points since Saunders went down. Like it's Devanza and then Wright scores another 20% of them. And then they're just scraping things together to try to find any sort of supporting cast there. Kai, per our handy dandy friends at CBB Analytics, BYU is locked into the 10, which
Really?
surprises me. They must lose every tiebreaker
Wow.
to everybody at 9-9. Texas Tech could be between 2 and 4. They got a 12% chance at the 2 if Houston loses and they win. I think that's what it would require. Houston's like a 12-point favorite though, so unlikely. And they could fall to the 4. But I like Tech too. I just think this version of them is better. They kind of have an identity right now of like spread it out, play a little smaller, don't play as much through pick and roll because Bamgoy is not the finisher that Toppin was, but he's a great defender, and the defense has actually been pretty solid in every game since Toppin went down. So getting more out of him, more out of Mosley in the front court, been impressed there, and the way Anderson and Atwell shoot, they can beat just about anybody. Tech's just going to be like Devanza bullying ISOs over and over. That could be enough, but I'd probably prefer to be on the other side. No wager for me there, but lean Texas Tech.
I cannot believe BYU's 10 seed in the Big 12.
I know.
That's
nuts.
wild, wild, wild.
Big 12
Team was
looks really,
16-1.
really mushy right now, man. You get past like the top 5, it's like,
Yeah,
although
I mean they're
Cincinnati's now
locked
awesome,
in
so maybe not.
being behind UCF, Cincinnati, West Virginia, TCU. BYU's behind all of those teams. Wild. Okay, next up on the outline, Louisville at Miami, Florida, a game I wrote for both action and the weekend watch list. So I'm well versed in this, Matthew, and I have a lean and a best bet. But should I unveil that later? I'm gonna let you talk first and see if you agree with me or not.
Oh, wait, sorry, what game?
Louisville,
Miami
Miami.
hosting Louisville.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't handicap the main board super robustly today. I think Miami's size is going to be a problem for Louisville here, though. Playing well, a team I was like really high on and kind of gave up on them, I think, too early. I think they just needed a few games to really reintegrate True Washington and their supporting cast has played a lot better as well. They've kind of found their new normal officially after have some injuries kind of derailed their. It was the kind of early start of the ACC play. I mean, both these teams are in, right? Like motivation
Yes.
wise, like I think it's going to take a catastrophe for either one of them. Even if they lose out, they're probably both still in. I lean the Canes here, Kai. Market agrees with me up to two.
Is
But
Michael
again,
Brown out again? Is he
and
out?
that's obviously that was my
Back?
final point. I
TBD,
believe he is
I
out.
think.
Yes.
Yeah. I just this Louisville team, man. Still, like, besides that NC State blowout in the third game of the year against Kentucky, they've not played well against good competition. They just have not. Now Miami hasn't really beaten anybody either. They beat UNC at home. That's their one win. That's they're kind of clinging to. I worry about their ability to defend the three against Louisville, who is clearly very good at it. And Miami has not been good defending the three all season. But Louisville's ball screen defense has been elite this year. Very key against Miami in their half court offense. Their transition defense has been very good as well. Miami very good in transition. I have a slight lean towards Miami at home, Jim, because I don't trust the Cards, but I do like the defensive angle for Louisville there.
I'm gonna best bet Miami.
Miami,
Nice.
I'll take the -2. I think Renew is going to be a monster mismatch going against Hadley inside, and Miami does not
yeah,
post up that much, but when they do, it's him. They will play through him a fair amount in there, and I think he'll bully Hadley. Now, can he handle the other end when they space him and go four out? Maybe, maybe not. But no Brown Jr. really cuts into Louisville's potency offensively. You got to put Conwell on the ball or play Kobe Rogers some, and that's not good. So the physicality on the glass, I think Goudet is going to be a handful for Fru and for Khalifa, and Miami is just general. The guard length and physicality, I think, will bother Conwell, bother McNeely, and Louisville's 0-8 in Q1A games. What am I doing?
Mhm.
That's the big thing. This is a Q1A
Yeah.
game,
Does it
so
qualify? Yeah. Obviously,
Right,
it's right
right.
on the
They
cut line,
they have
right?
not
Yeah.
played well against good competition. Thoughts on the total? I think Ryan in the chat is on the over, part of a
and
parlay. I'm
I
yeah, I
like
assuming
would
over as well. Miami is
lean to
like
the
without Brown.
Florida's or
no, a good point.
Louisville
Is
can't shoot in these Q1A games. They don't get good
yeah, that's
shots.
true.
They're like ninth percentile nationally in spot up rate, which you think is like that isn't with as many threes as they take. Shouldn't they get more spot ups? But
Yeah. All right.
their offense doesn't really generate them. There's a lot of shots off the bounce. There's McNeely off of screens. I don't know. They like every time you talk about Louisville, you're like, oh, they take so many threes, they can beat anybody. It's like, well, no, they can't beat anybody. They've proven they can't beat good teams. They're like 21-1 against non-Q1A and then 0-8 against
Yeah.
Q1A. So I'll go Miami -2 best bet, locking it in. Next up, we have Florida at Kentucky, a rematch of a game from earlier this year, which Kentucky actually competed reasonably well in Gainesville. I kind of thought Florida would punk Kentucky inside Matthew. That wasn't quite the case. Now you've got the potential for a little hangover for Florida. They cut down the nets and celebrated the SEC regular season title midweek, and now they go on the road to Big Blue Nation. I'm staying away from this one. Kentucky's been so volatile. I've had a hard time nailing them down this year. Plus that little Florida emotional angle. I know they're still playing for the last one seed, and that matters still too. But I'm going to sit this one out, Matthias. What do you think?
I'm gonna sit it out too. I think the number's fair. I mean the obvious. So two things here. One is Thomas Howe is supposed to play, but I know he was not 100%. He's basically never missed a game. I think he's like been an Ironman since he's been in college. Um, Feels like this could be a why not force it if you don't need him to play. If he's less than 100%. I don't think you need to. You don't have to have this game. And then the Aberdeen revenge angle, Kai. How mad is Florida to go against their old guy who's sort of
Not
said
mad at
deuces
all,
late in the
probably.
Porto Soccer? Or how mad is Aberdeen for not getting offered?
Yeah,
What was he? I guess
two
what's he
million.
paid? Kentucky, 2 million. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Because Florida lowballed them, of course. No, so some good. I think there'll be some fireworks here in this game.
yeah,
It's a good one to watch. But yeah, I think the number's fair. Over. I don't know. Kentucky's been a little bit more pace controlled lately. That's why they've actually been really effective late in these second halves. They've actually executed very well. So nothing for me on either side or total.
yeah. Florida lowballed him. Would you like $1 million to come back to the defending national title team where you're going to be a guaranteed starter and have a huge role? No, thanks. Just kids
No,
these
thank
days.
you.
Kids these days.
Uh,
Kids.
yeah. Jim mentioned game one. First of all, Florida hasn't lost since January. They're just really good right now. Kentucky never led, but they did get close in the second half where Florida pulled away. Florida grabbed 41% of their misses. That's kind of the game I expect against Kentucky. Florida's front court Now, if Halka is out, that definitely makes a difference. But
He should
Chinielu,
play. I think he's probable on the official report.
Chinielu and Condon are basically first-team All-SEC players too. they're excellent on the glass this season. I just have no clue how to predict Kentucky. They're a little bit of a Mizzou for me, Jim. I still don't think they're very good. But then the Vandy game was impressive. They led the entire way. It wasn't even close. And then we melt hard against Texas A&M. I just don't really know what this team is. So I lean towards the machine, the consistency, the Florida machine.
Yeah, they're just a little too erratic for me to trust Kentucky, but I don't really like the spot for Florida either. I don't think Hauck's like hurt. So the fact that it's probable, I think it seemed like just a rest game midweek for them. And they're making shots. They made 36% of the threes in February. See if that carries over to March. But I would actually lean under. I'm surprised this is 5 points over the Ken Palm number. I guess it's because Florida's been playing very fast and has scored 108 and 111 in their last two games. But I think Kentucky's a little bit better defensively than Arkansas and Mississippi State. So I would lean under, but not strong enough to take it. All right, let's get to Chat Mob, our first visit to the chat section for chat questions. But before I do, Kai, I'm going to give a shout out to Basket Under Review. That is the college basketball powerhouse company that we are a part of, that we work for. We just came out with the weekend watch list this morning, writing up all kinds of games, both high major, mid major, conference tournaments. Be sure to check that out on the basketunderreview.com website. I think it's one of the best things we do. Myself, Will Warren, Jordan Majeski, Matt Winnick, and Tuck Clary took down probably like some 40 plus games or something for the weekend. So definitely give that a good read. Games for today, games for tomorrow. All kinds of other goodies that come with the $10 a month. You get the Discord, you get Trilly's scoops. He's already talking all kinds of things coaching carousel in the Discord. He kind of pissed off some K-State fans, I think, with his assessment of that coaching search right now. But sometimes the truth hurts, folks, and you get the truth if you're in the chat and in the Discord and talking to Trilly. So that is Basket Under Review. Highly encourage joining. If you haven't, it's perfect time for March, and then tell somebody else if you have already joined. Okay, Kai, let's get to some questions.
I am the master mob man, the chat mobber boy. Xavier Villanova from Grant. I'm doing this one first because it tips at 11 Central. Villanova's laying 13, Matthew, against Xavier. Seems a little high to me at first price, but what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I just saw that shouts to Jordan Majeski, the absolute goat on the news beat. Trey Carroll not participating in warm-ups. Important. Did not realize he's actually leading the league in scoring.
He's awesome offensively.
Yeah, I like
not aware of that.
I like the over, but I like it less without him. I just think Xavier's can maybe spread and shred Villanova a little bit, but I just don't know how Xavier's going to stop Villanova up front or just with what they have. Now, we'll see how I wonder if Nova's depth's going to catch up to them down the stretch. I just feel like they're getting a little thin with their rotation now.
Wow, he's averaging 18 points a game. That's crazy.
How good was that FAU team? It was awesome. We should talk more about how awesome that team was.
Yes.
Look at Nick Boyd. Look at Nick Boyd right now. Yeah.
All right, we're going all the way back to Ethan for a little coastal two-free here, Jim. I'll give you Campbell and Stony Brook in the opening matchup here. Campbell laying 2.5 right now. Matthew, you're going to do Hampton Towson. Towson laying 6. Jim, you go first.
Maddie loves Towson, so I
do. I like Campbell a lot as well. I
like Campbell too. They're playing very well. Actually, they're not playing well. They've lost 4 of 6, but I like the coaching factor there. Stony Brook, who's the key injury they've had lately? Pratt was like suspended a game, I think, but he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah,
it was just a suspension, I think. He missed the Hofstra game. Yep. He's back though.
Yeah, Quinn Gorman has been out, but yeah, Pratt's like their big time scorer. Eileen Campbell, I just think they kind of have a little more of an identity with Andrzejek coming over from Florida last year. I'm trying to look at their historical. Stony Brook won at Campbell in the only meeting. So this isn't quite road revenge, but it tilts that way to me. The better team lost the first meeting at home. I love that. I like Campbell.
Matthew Towson, Hampton?
I lean Towson. I just think it's a big number. Hampton's been pretty cockroachy. They've been feisty. They got some athletes, some size, and that's usually where Towson exerts their will. Back to Campbell. I have a pretty strong Campbell lean here. I just feel like they sort of rope-a-dope their way into the tournament. I think their ceiling's still really high now that they got Fields and Budka back in the mix. You're right, Jim. Those losses down the stretch were a little bit perplexing, but nothing like alarming. Drexel's feisty. Towson's good. Wilmington's obviously very good. Yeah, I think Campbell gets it done today.
All right, we got some Zang questions, boys. Jim, Boise State and Colorado State. Colorado State's white hot right now. They're laying 1.5 at home against Boise.
Yeah, I kind of lean that way. It's remarkable to me they're doing this without Pasquarelli, who I kind of thought was their best player, like flamethrower from Marist, and he's been out for like 4.5 games at this point. They could get exposed a little bit inside, but man, the Medved Farokmanesh structure like kind of prevents you from getting crushed without size. Like they play so compact, and Boise State's guards are bad, man. They've been the problem all season long. So I lean Colorado State.
Best bet for me, Colorado State.
Hey, hot
Nice.
hand. I
One
like
and a
it,
half.
They
Matthew.
don't need Pasquarelli. They're better without him. I mean, they're just better because they have their bigs healthy, right? You have Booth, but more importantly, you have I'm sorry, not yeah,
Bemba, Jorgensen.
and Ben
Yeah.
Jorgensen back. There's just a different team with those guys. Like just the way those two complement each other. They set up everything offensively for those guards, and then defensively they've been really big on the glass, and that's sort of where Colorado State's issues are. Is they're not super athletic, but guess what? Neither is Boise. So I like the Rams here at home.
Matt, keep the mic for Big West
Sure.
action. UC San Diego at UC Santa Babs. Santa Babs laying 1.5.
I kind of lean Santa Babs, but man, I thought the Miro Little re-injury thing was just such a bummer. I kind of thought they were going to get white hot, and since he's been back out, just what they've lost 5 of 8 coming down the stretch. They just played Irvine close. I stayed away here. I feel like my number hasn't quite adjusted for how they're a different team without Little, like very clearly, and it's just my numbers still kind of skewed to where they when they had him in January, right? Yeah.
Big South Gym. High Point laying 14 against Asheville. Seems quite high to me, but High Point is by far the best team in this league. I wouldn't want to go against them.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't cover against Gardner Webb. I got a little bit complacent late in that one. The advantage that Asheville really slows the game down. Like they are slow offensively. And I think that could help cover a bigger number here. Now they lost by 26 and 18 during the regular season, so perhaps not a great matchup for them. If High Point gets this sped up at all, they're going to blow them out with their depth. But yeah, I would agree. A little bit of a bigger number. Just going to sit that one out.
In the A Sun, we got Harry asking about Queens and Austin P. Um, I love betting the A Sun tournament, but my gosh, because it's crazy. I usually the dogs are barking. This one's pick. I thought Austin P would win this conference tournament. They really struggled with Stetson, so that made me a little scared. I lean their way though here at pick. I don't know if you guys have an opinion on that one.
I lean Queens, just the offensive talent that they have, and I'm hoping they're going to really continue to unleash Watford, the freshman, who is like maybe the most talented player in the conference. Only 19 minutes off the bench last game, but Kai, what I really like is the over. I think both
Over.
teams score kind of at will. For they did in the first game, 95-87. So
Jim, how about Vanderbilt at Tennessee? This one did not make the rundown. That's on Kai. Tennessee's land
it's
3.
okay. I am Googling right now for Nate Ament news. I think that's
He's
pretty
doubtful.
massive.
He officially doubtful in the
Doubtful.
report. Yeah.
Yeah, high ankle sprain isn't something you come back from in a week.
If
So,
he's
and it
out,
just makes more sense
phew.
to sit him.
And
Yeah, lean
Boswell
towards Vandy.
under the weather, apparently.
Yep. Yep.
Bishop.
Bishop
Okay.
Boswell. Yeah.
Yeah, then I would lean towards Vandy. Ament, without him, the offense really struggles. I know they got by South Carolina, but it's South Carolina. So, yeah, lean Vandy.
Matthew, your Loyola Chicago Ramblers, Chicago's A10 team, hosting G Dub. They're getting 10.5 points to end their season. Thoughts?
Yeah, up at home. We should go check it out. The finale, the send off of what was a terrible campaign for Mr. Valentine. My number made this like 14. I was like, whoa, that was high. George Washington, they've been healthy. They've been inconsistent for sure. But they've been healthier. I think they kind of smack Loyola, frankly. That's my gut. But I'm not betting George Washington the rest of the year as a general rule of thumb. They're way too unpredictable for me. In-game stuff is just bananas. They're super talented, though, obviously.
Jim, the ACC, California, and Wake. This one's from Patrick. Wake's laying 5 against California, who kind of still in the tournament picture, but fading.
Yeah,
Are
this
they?
one's I've had a tough time with Cal all year. I mean, like that Pitt game was such a face plant. I like Wake a lot less without Cal Meese. I know they've got Coleman and Harris has been incredible, but Cal going all the way across the country, 5 seems a little high. I would lean towards Cal purely as a number play, but I don't have a strong sense on that game.
Matt from Jason, how's your CUSA knowledge? Delaware's hosting Louisiana Tech. La Tech's laying 2 on the road.
Checking on Latex injury situation
That's
here.
what I was gonna say. Scoot,
Um,
scoot.
because Hauser's still out for Delaware, and Scoot, I believe, is still out for Louisiana Tech. And I
Yeah.
mentioned
I mean,
him at the
everybody's been
roasted.
out for Delaware all year.
Yeah,
That team
that's why I
is.
feel bad. Gonna be an ugly game. First one went to OT. Delaware probably should have won that game. Frankly, I like the under, but um, I kind of like Delaware at home. I do. Off that big win, they just beat Liberty, Louisiana Tech. I think they kind of lay an egg today, just instinctually.
Delaware had three guys play 40 minutes last game, and then three other guys combined for the other 80 minutes. Like six,
Is
they have six bodies. That's it.
is Liberty fine? They just kind of packed it in once they locked up the CUSA. That's fine, whatever. 3 or 4 though.
I,
Yeah,
I, if they make the NCAA tournament, that is a fade team to me.
yeah.
Very
They don't have size.
very interesting handicap in this one. Winthrop and Presbyterian. So Winthrop should have lost yesterday. They scored 10 points in 13 seconds to beat. That's right. That's a real stat. To beat Chuck South to cover as well. If you had a bad line on Chuck South, and to get the over. Presbyterian won in overtime. They should have lost as well to Radford, and they won in overtime. I like Presbyterian as a dog here, Jim. Logan Duncombe is freaking amazing. he just This league is his playground. It's crazy. He played like 10 minutes and he scored 20 and 10. I lean towards the hose though in this game. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I also lean towards Presbyterian. They gave him a heck of a fight in the finale. Duncombe was out that game. I am super curious to see what he's able to give them today. Like he
On a
didn't
back to
come
back,
out.
I know.
Yeah, he didn't come out for warm-ups for the second half. I thought
Ice
he
in
was
his foot.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they like forced him out. He probably forced his way out there and was totally dominant when on the court. I'm guessing you get the same thing today, like 15 minutes. They're going to be hyper productive, but a little bit of lean to Presbyterian. But that's such a complicated handicap with Duncombe status.
Another IU defector, Kai, who's doing some cool stuff at mid-majored. Kind of fun.
Think IU could use him this year?
Yeah. Although
He's
Big
basically
South,
like
Big
Drew.
Ten.
He's basically Drew Pembering that league
I was just
when
gonna say
he's
Drew
on the
Pember,
court.
except
Yeah,
he
he
can't
is.
shoot.
Except, yeah.
He's not a shooter.
Okay. Two more, and then we'll go back to the rundown here. Georgia, Mississippi State, Matthew. The Bulldogs. Bulldog and Bulldog crime. Hate to see that. Mississippi
Uh,
State plus 5.5 at home against Georgia, off a big Alabama win for Georgia.
Yeah, huge, huge. God, that's right. Sean Jones is questionable today for Mississippi State, and King Grace, the freshman who I really like, is officially out. But Sean Jones, he missed last game, right? Yeah, so he might come back today. I don't know, man. I kind of lean Georgia, but it could be a Hubbard 40 ball here. Final home game. I think that'll be an emotional. I think him and Jans that'll be a good, fun, emotional moment. I can see him going for 50. I would take props over Hubbard. I see like a 40% usage today in this
Hubbard's
matchup.
only a junior, Matthew. He could come back. We'll
Oh,
see.
that's right. He could come back.
That's crazy.
The Sean Jones stat is he. I hope he plays today because he's the only SEC 4-year senior on the
Yeah.
same team
Yeah.
in the entire
That's been his
conference. So I hope
entire
he gets to
career.
play on
Yeah.
senior day. Yep.
That's a good
Nuts.
point. Yeah.
Nuts. Last one, Jim, for the rundown. Houston, Oklahoma State. Houston's laying 13? 12 and a half, 13
Man,
on the road.
it feels a little high for a Houston team whose offense can kind of be up and down. And Oklahoma State, as disgusting as the 6-11 Big 12 record is, they are very much alive on the bubble. If they win this game, they're going to be an interesting discussion point because everybody will hate the 7-11 league record, but their resume metrics will probably be in the tournament ballpark. Like they're right in the fringe now, and you add a win over Houston, suddenly it's going to look pretty good. But they take care of the ball. Houston does, and that's if you're playing up and down and you're not getting turnovers against them, it could be problematic. Houston will dominate the offensive glass. It just feels a little high to me to lay on the road with Houston.
All right, love it. Let's go back to the rundown. We'll get the rest of the chat mob questions after these next few games.
Back to the rundown we go, Kai, and make sure you stay ready over there because it is your into our Mizzou Tigers here hosting Arkansas sans Darius Acuff, who is finally getting a rest day after apparently being banged up for a while, playing 50 minutes against Alabama on that banged up foot, ankle, whatever exactly it is. I fear that Malik Thomas can come in and have a big game, Kai, and I hate when Mizzou has expectations. They seem to thrive when they do not, and they have expectations from the market because they've been bet all the way to 3.5
Oh my
at most
God.
books.
What?
What do you think? Yeah.
That's a way overreaction.
No Acuff. That's huge though. Acuff's like the
Kempom has
best player.
this Arkansas -4. Is he were
It's a lot of
7.5 points?
It's a lot of DJ Wagner now. That's true.
I think the replacement value is so big. I mean,
you can go
Mizzou
first.
needs it more too, probably, right? I don't know. Again, does that matter? No, it doesn't. But
Okay, I'll go first.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have no take here. Sorry. I
Well,
just
game. So there's also a question about first half team total over for Arkansas, which is 36.5. Yes, because Mizzou cannot stop Arkansas, and a lot of that was Acuff in game one. He had 20 points, but they scored 1.37 points per possession in game one against Mizzou. Mizzou can stop. Mizzou also cannot be stopped. Like Mitchell had an enormous game. He's too much for Arkansas. His physicality, his size is going to batter them. Um, in theory, Mizzou is a pretty good matchup for Arkansas with how much they attack the rim. And Mizzou's got a pretty good interior defense. Paint and rim defense were huge. We're athletic. I'm saying we because I went there. But you take away Acuff's dynamism, that matters. You still have DJ Wagner, a 5-star. Yes, I know he's not that good, Matthew, but you still have him. You still have Thomas. I leaned the Tigers at like pick, not 3.5. Absolutely
yeah,
not. No
I'm
way.
not going to bet it here at this price. Has you been playing zone a lot? You guys have been watching. I haven't watched them.
He
They didn't
mixed in
mix and
zone a
match and
lot.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Because
total mix up,
Arkansas's zone
yeah.
offense is actually very good. You probably wouldn't think that instinctually, but A-Cup's a
That's
huge
because they
part of
can
that.
shoot the shit out of the ball, yeah.
Right.
With A-Cup they
And
can.
yeah, and I mean, like Richmond's a good connector, and they got their bigs are actually not total doofuses, and obviously they just crush the glass when you're, but you get teams that are in zone, obviously. Yeah, stay away. I think the market just totally eroded any value you had fading Arkansas Sans A Cup, which feels like the right instinct, but it's gone, I think, too far, in my opinion, Jim. So pass for me.
Yeah, if Mizzou maybe -2, I could have thought about. I continue to get almost every Mizzou game wrong. I think I
I'm
thought
0
the
6 this year
Oklahoma game.
on Mizzou. 0 6.
I
I've kind
thought
of
the
jinxed you guys
Oklahoma
pretty
game was
badly.
the time to, sell high after they played their best game of the year at Mississippi State. So that actually worked out reasonably well. I think if I had to bet anything here, it'd be I'd find a Malik Thomas player prop. I think he's going to erupt here without Acuff. They'll probably put the ball in his hands a little more, let him have some tryout as a lead ball handler. I know Wagner's around too, but I think we'll kind of get a very featured Malik Thomas game. Mizzou's got some backcourt defenders. Barrett can kind of lock you up a little bit, and Robinson's feisty on that end, but Thomas will probably get to the line a decent amount. Yeah, I no real lean on side or total, but I think Thomas player prop is worth investing. All right, to the biggest bubble battle of the day, from Jim and Kai's alma mater now to Matt's alma mater, the IU
Mm.
Hoosiers desperately need one on the road here, getting 4 points at Ohio State. I think there's some 3.5, some 4.5. It's all over the place out there. Ohio State, more of a win and they're in situation, Matthew. Seems like that for the Buckeyes. Can your Hoosiers get the road win that they so desperately need?
I think they can, and I think they do. Big win against Minnesota on Wednesday. God, they won by 30 points. That was Minnesota. I think it just ran out of steam at that point. I like the over here. I don't have actually a ton of. I lean IU on the side. I think there's a lot of points. I think it's a highly efficient game. Both offense, I think, built to score against both these defenses. Even though the pace has not really been crazy fast for either team, I think we thought Diebler would be looking to run and gun. He's kind of cramped up the kind of let Thornton sort of execute
Yeah,
more
well,
in
when
the
your
half
six
court,
man's Gabe Cups, you're like not
and you
really
don't have
looking
any
to.
depth. That was the other point. A Gabe
Gabe
Cup's
Cup's
revenge
revenge.
game.
Wow. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's worth 2 points to my cap, Kai. Um,
Oof.
yeah, I mean, I know Ohio State's won 2-0, but again, I just the teams that caught Purdue at this point in the year are just lucky in scheduling. Like that's gonna score like a really good win, but we all know Purdue is just super vulnerable at this point. And it was a desperate spot for Ohio State. Come on, Hoosiers, get this Buckeye team out of here. I'm so sick of their nonsense.
Yeah, I agree with Jim. Ohio State's in with a win. Indiana's out with a loss too, in my opinion. They need this game like blood. Um, hey, Ohio State cannot smoke Indiana inside. Said it all year. That's their weakness. They can't do it. They can't get them on the glass. At least dominate on the glass like a lot of Big Ten teams can. It's going to be a jump shooting battle. IU from three, Ohio State from mid range and like short paint, wherever Thornton decides to go. I like the size Indiana can throw at Thornton Gym, and I'm leaning pretty heavily towards Indiana here.
Yeah, I kind of am too. You got Enright and Conaway as good on-ball guys to stick with Thornton, try to fight over screens, force him to or be under him as he's trying to get those pull-ups at the elbow. I also lean towards Indiana, and I tried to. I took the cheese with Penn State midweek. I thought you'd have like a little bit of a letdown for Ohio State. That did not happen. They absolutely destroyed the Nittany Lions, but I'm still leaning that way here with Hoosiers. Man, get in the tournament. Darren DeVries is right on the bubble again. Same thing as last year. And Indiana would be very bummed for what they paid for their roster, for what they paid for the new coach to not make the tournament again. That would be harsh. Not a huge part of the handicap there, but just kind of contextualization. Lean Indiana. All right, two more on the outline. Cincinnati now, the surging bubble team that has gotten all the hype, all the momentum with the way they're playing. Pick your date on a Bart Torvik filter, January 1st, February 1st. The Cincinnati team looks like an absolute darling. Kai, they're catching two at TCU. Like, I know their resume metrics are still kind of outside looking in. They're like negative 1.5 WAB, I think, still. But man, if they get this one, TCU, who's more or less comfortably in at this point, we're really talking Bearcats, and they're catching two on the road. You think they get the win they need?
Yeah. So, Jim, since January 1st, they're top 20. Since February 1st, they're top 10 for Bart Torvik. A win gets them to 4-10 against Q1. That's not that bad compared to a lot of bubble teams. Obviously, the 10 losses aren't great. 9-12 Q1, Q2. I don't think it does it still, but it's a necessary step. They can't lose this game. So it's a can't lose for Cincinnati. I agree TCU's in. They've won 7 of 8. They look really, really good. I think it's going to be hard for TCU to score in this game, Matt. Cincy's
Yeah.
defense, very stingy inside. TCU, one of the worst shooting teams in the league. They need the free throw line and the glass to score. I think Cincy is very difficult to do that against. Cham has been an absolute monster. Also offensively, he's been a one-man wrecking crew. 21 points per game in the last 5 games. I don't know if TCU has an answer for that, and their offense has been humming lately. They're playing good offense. They're moving the ball. They're shooting well. I lean towards Cincy here at +2.
Man, I'm kind of torn on this one. I think both teams have trouble scoring. You're right. I think TCU's in, obviously. Cincinnati, scorching highs we've talked about, healthier up front. The Jizzle James impact has been pretty enormous for their offense. They've been taking money to the over a lot, Jim. I'm sure you probably noticed that. It feels like everyone's been betting Cincy overs. Up 5 points today, 141 up from 136. I stayed away. I feel like it's a little short. I still believe TCU is the better team. This line is implying that the market disagrees with that. If you think TCU's home court's worth a damn, which I do. Historically, they've
Yeah.
actually been very good at
Those
home,
good
even though I
luck.
don't really
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
So, Jim, slightly lean to the Horny Frogs, but I am not as eager to back them.
Well, you versus me, kind of. I'm going to best bet Cincinnati here. I'm going to ride with the current version, the team that looks really good, that's not playing Sean Abayev, that's not playing Kirk Kriisa, two losing players, like demonstrably losing players to me. They figured out the rotation. They're playing a little more through the front court. They're getting slightly better shots. It's still not an awesome shot selection offense. A lot of long twos with Jizzle and Day Day. But TCU is not going to overwhelm me with offensive prowess either. I'm surprised this got bet up. I would definitely lean to the under, but I will best bet Cincinnati, Kai. I think they continue this bubble push and give the committee something to really think about with, is this version with Chisel James actually worth being in the tournament?
Mm.
All right, that is it for that one. Last game on the outline is another bubble team, Auburn, who I just want to scream, get out of my tournament at them with their
Yep.
14 losses. And I kind of think if they lose today, it's good riddance because they would end up with 16 losses, would be the first at-large team ever with 16 losses. I know the strength of schedule is way, way up there, but man, I just even like their WAB is not really tournament quality right now. But they've got an opportunity here, Matthew. They go to Bama, arch rival, the IBOB, the Iron Bowl basketball. They're just catching a touchdown, 7.5, mega high total per usual for an Alabama game, 177.5. Can Stevie Pearl justify Daddy's diatribes
Mm.
and get the win here?
I don't think he does. We just talked about Cincinnati as a comparison here. Per CBB Analytics, they have a new split feature. You can kind of isolate last 10 game performance versus full season. Cincy is like, I think, only behind Florida and Marquette last 10 games versus full season. On the other end of that spectrum, BYU, LSU, Butler, South Carolina, Penn State, Iowa, Georgia Tech, and Auburn. Just feels like this whole resume is propped up by some kind of fluky non-con stuff, and I think they're just way too streaky. Keyshawn Murphy, I love. I think him and Pettiford kind of have the ability to keep them in it, and Keyshawn Hull sometimes can get favorable matchups, but against Bama, I think they actually match up pretty well defensively. Come on, Tide, close this out. I'm tired of the Pearl trumpeting on
Happening?
trumpeting. Thank you. On the
Iron
network. So, yeah.
Bowl. I know what this is. The Iron Bowl. It's not Arkansas. It's Alabama Auburn. Yes, Auburn's out if they lose. They're still alive, barely with a win. Actually, I can see them being in with the win just because of this would be huge for their WAB. Big spread, but totals in the mid 170s. There's going to be tons of possessions in this game for Alabama to stretch it over. I think Keyshawn Hall is going to dominate Alabama. He did in game one. I think Keyshawn Murphy's going to dominate Alabama. He kind of did in game one. But I think the Alabama firepower on the other end, they're shooting against a sagging Auburn defense that, for whatever reason, ranks 345th in three-point percentage allowed, probably due to some of that sagging. I think Alabama wins the game. Toss up on spread. It's a huge spread. I hope Alabama wins.
Yeah, it's 9 at KenPom, surprisingly.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's again contributed to by the amount of possessions where you can extend that gap by an extra point or two. Auburn opponents shooting 41% from three in league play. Like that is just brutal. The two-way splits in conference play are tough for them. I kind of lean towards Auburn. Like I know they've lost some dumb ones at home, the Ole Miss one in particular, but they're also very competitive, and I could see this turning into like, God, how much do we have to consider them? So a little bit of vibes to that handicap. I would lean to Auburn, but I'm not betting this game. It needs to be volatile. Probably a good live betting game. We say that a lot about Bama games because they're back and forth with a lot of possessions. So going to sit that one out. I've got plenty of best bets, so I don't need to force anything here. All right, let's go back to Chat Mob. Kai, I'll hand it to you, but another quick shout out. Make sure if you haven't yet joined Basket Under Review, not going to do the full ad copy read here. We don't actually have copy, but just want to mention Basket Under Review, get in the Discord, get on the website, all kinds of goodies there for only $10 a month. All right, Mr. McEwen.
Yeah, a lot of questions. Let's go quick, fellas. This one tips at 11, so we'll hit Virginia Tech. I know Zhang's asking about first half. Full game's 11, Jim. You got an opinion on this one?
Oh man, I got distracted, Kai. Sorry. Can you tell me the game again?
Virginia Tech, Virginia. I think
Oh,
you have
Virginia Tech, best bet. Yep, yep. Sorry. Virginia Tech, best bet. I know they won the first game, so there's a little bit of revenge, but it's not road revenge. That scares me a lot more than home team won. Now back to the other way. I just think it's high. Virginia Tech always or seemingly very feisty in this matchup. Should be a lower possession game with Virginia Tech trying to play in the half court. The first one was a lot of possessions, but it's because it was three overtimes. They've got some size to compete inside. Gerdak has given them like real heft to go against the interior of Virginia. I'm just surprised this is double digits, quite honestly. I don't think Virginia's playing all that well. The Duke blowout loss is not even the reason I'm saying that. The NC State game is like the only really good game they've played in like a month and a half. So too many points here, plus 11 and a half best bet.
Neo looks healthier. I will say that. Looks much healthier lately.
Let's hit Valley action, Matthew.
Sure.
UIC, our Flames, minus 5.5 against Drake. They took Murray to the woodshed. Drake took Belmont to the woodshed. I said this. I've watched Drake 3 times. They've won every game. They've looked impressive. So I've seen their 3 best games of the season. Thoughts on this game?
I kind of think Drake is, yeah.
Jalen Quinn is
The
great.
winner, here's my hot take. Winner of this game wins the tournament. I think Drake is that hot. And I
Please,
actually like
no.
USC. Why does someone like USC? This team's been fun for a while. I'm tired of no
They're
one like
really
taking
good.
them seriously. They're good. They got
I'm
real
just mad
guard
at them
play.
from the Crawford ejection against Murray State game.
Yeah, I know that was. I had a lot of money in that game too. And I didn't bet them yesterday in the sort of revenge spot. So double whammy for me there. I think Drake covers this. I think USC actually sneaks by though. I think if you're, I went to kind of your point. I just keep riding the Drake wave. We saw they had potential. Like you can see it. They have
Playing
talent.
really
They're
well.
super athletic. Larson finally playing well. That was always a key to this team. He was not good the first month of the year. They have shot makers. I think they cover this. I do think USC sneaks by though, and then they win tomorrow.
Jalen Quinn is a gamer. Jim, you and I, Bradley, Northern Iowa was laying 4.5 as a 6 seed over the 2 seed. They're second best team in KenPom in the conference. That's too high, in my opinion. I love you and I, but 4.5 against Bradley, who is still very, very good, with the best player in the league as well.
Yeah, it feels a little high, and Jaquan Johnson seemed fine yesterday. I know they had the double overtime win. That's probably why the market is where it's at right here.
Sure.
The fade off the double OT. Interesting, KenPom is not displaying the Valpo game as a conference tournament game right now. That's tripping me up a little bit as I surveil the teams.
I'm looking at you and I. It's correct there, but you're right. Bradley's it's all. God dang it,
Yeah.
Ken, figure it out.
Yeah. We're paying $25 a year for this site. Come on. UNI is just a totally different team with Tristan Smith in there. Like he changes the offense, gives them like a little bit of interior, some athleticism. The number is high, Kai. If it was 2.5, I'd be all over UNI, but I think the 2 OT game for Valpo has sucked the value out, so I have to probably leave it alone. Oh, and just to mention Valley unders, they went 1-3 yesterday. A couple just got absolutely blown away. There was the 2 overtime game that ruined that one. I'm not going to auto bet them. I think you got to handicap them as normal given the level that they're at, or wait till game time when that one group bets them up and get a better number.
Matthew, we got to talk about it. Duke UNC, the most unanticipated Duke UNC game of all
I
time.
know.
Duke's laying 17.5. I mean,
God, that's so high. I know.
is that right?
I made it 15 and a half.
Okay.
Heard a little rumor that there might be a surprise injury for Duke today.
Ngangba is in a boot
Yeah.
apparently.
Okay. So that's gotten out. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's big. I think he kind of is that sort of he's the edge at the rim,
I
especially
think
against
that's when
UNC's
they moved
front
though.
line. They're gonna need him against VSAR for sure. If he's out, a big game for VSAR, I think, coming up here. So that's my worry. If you're a Duke fan.
Okay, let's go. Mac in AAC, Jim. Maris, Quinnipiac laying 2.5. Maris has injuries. That's part of the reason for this.
Yep, I took Quinnipiac in the conference tournament pool. I think they're a great bet, but decent. I don't think anything in the MAC is a great bet, quite honestly. I just can't figure it out that well. But Maris injuries plus Amari Monroe practiced all week and is apparently totally
But he's
fine for
good. Okay,
Quinnipiac.
that's not a question.
Yeah, that is the big like one team's healthier, one team's not. I would lean Quinny.
Sort of the same thing. The SoCon Matt Mercer has, I think, an injury or two. They're playing Western Carolina. They're favored by one. Mercer.
I can't.
I still like
Yeah, man, your
Mercer.
boy shoulders.
Frankly,
Your boy
frankly,
I
shoulders, Matthew.
I still bet Mercer today. It's a
I
best
still
bet for
like
me.
Mercer.
I'm gonna tiptoe into declaring that. I took them first half and full game, full transparency. My best bet will be on the full game, just because that's more fun. But yeah, the depth is a little bit worrisome here for Mercer, and shoulders matters. I just think I don't believe that Western Carolina is as good as Mercer. It's that simple. I know they played much better. They've gotten some good guard play, and Timmy Kraft can coach them up. But I think Mercer is the better team. I think in this spot here, get a little more time to rest. Bears prevail.
Jim, another rivalry game. Kansas State at Kansas. Kansas also laying 17.5, just like Duke against their rival.
God, at least
Thought.
Kansas isn't off a loss in the first meeting where Duke is going to be like angry. Let's pound this team into the sand. But I think probably no Haggerty again, right? Like that's contributing to why this total or the spread is so high. It's kind of a Kansas can name your number kind of
Ooh,
game.
Harry probable, Jim. I kind of
Always
think K
probable.
State weirdly hangs
Okay.
around. This is like this year's stunk. Let's just walk into Fog and just play with our hair on fire and
Play a little loose. Yeah, I mean
just
their
Lucy. I think it's
defense.
Hugh
close. I
Driscoll.
do. I think it's
Yeah.
close.
Wagner LIU.
Mm.
Wagner plus 8.5. That's the way I lean in this game. LIU just surviving Chicago State. They did handle Wagner in both meetings this year, but Wagner's been playing very well down the stretch.
I agree.
Yeah, I
I
got a
like
little
Wagner too.
Wagner Conference tourney futures. So not betting the game, but I'm rooting hard for the Seahawks here.
Circa 8.5 and
Yeah.
Chris with -7, 6.5. Interesting. That's an odd split.
Jim, do you like
Arb.
the Stonehill Mercyhurst under? It's actually gone up a little bit since this question was asked. Now
Yeah,
134.5, 135 even.
for betting so many Mercyhurst unders this year, it didn't actually go that well. I wish I could say it did. I'm pulling up the splits right now. I think it was like under 500 or something. Let's
Yeah, Bernie
see.
Blunt rated in threes, Jim. That's why.
Yeah, 15 and 15 on totals this year. So not the team you should pick to like kind of auto bet unders. I know I missed a couple winners, so I'm gonna stay away from it. Conference tournament and lean that way, but man, 15 and 15. There's not like some great value on the under.
I think I buried the lead there. Wagner's my best bet plus 8.5. I totally forgot. So there you go. My best bet's Wagner plus 8.5. Jim, NC State Stanford. NC State's laying 9. I think you like the Wolfpack there.
Yeah, this one was a little bit vibesy because of how toxic everything's gotten around NC State. And maybe this is one where Will Wade line in the sand game. It's not going to be a best bet on the show. It was on the basket under review graphic, but I've got other games that I'll go in that direction. Definitely in NC State. I think this could be the kind of game where Stanford comes all the way across the country and the threes go in and NC State's having a party on the sideline and wins by 20, but not going to lock it in as a best bet.
All right, we got a couple more here before 11 o'clock rolls around. Wichita and FAU, Matthew. Wichita laying 7.5. Wow, big spread.
It is FAU injury. I believe Well, let me check. Sorry, I had the notes here.
Vanterpool's the big one.
He's been back, but I just
No,
think
he's
FAU
not.
for I think it's
Vanterpool's
way
missed
too
four in
high.
a row. Four in a row.
Oh, sorry, that's right. He missed four.
Yep.
Carlisle's been back. That's right. But still, Vanderbilt's the
Okay.
one that matters, obviously. I'm gonna sit this one out. I think it's too high. Kai. I think FAU in the conference tournament will be a look for me. I think
Yep.
that's where you're gonna see their ceiling emerge, assuming they get Vanderpool back, which is I think still up in the air. They've been kind of like cautious with him. I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Jim, Mick Cronin's complaining he has to go all the way to Los Angeles to play USC. They screwed him again. Bruins are laying 6.5. They've been steamed in the market.
I said in the Discord before the Washington game that USC has climbed in its own toilet and is flushing itself, and they lost by 20 to Washington. Maybe there's like a last stand against arch rival, but they got smashed at UCLA, and I think they're well on their way out. They're so injured with Baker Mazar having left the team, and then Rice and Dickerson out for the whole year. It's just not a very talented team anymore. I would lean UCLA, and UCLA has been very good in the Pacific time zone, even though this is a road game.
Matt, you gave Purdue crap earlier in the show. Well, they're taking money
Mm-hmm.
against Wisconsin, up to 10, 9.5 some places against
Jesus, it's
the
got to be
Badgers.
has to be Nolan Winter, right?
Yeah, Jim, what's the update there? I had a good Wisconsin stat though.
Go ahead, say your stat.
So as I said, 2B Analytics has a fun last 10 games to full season comparison tool, which is great. Florida, Marquette, Cincinnati, Florida State, and then Wisconsin is the fifth best team playing the best relatively to their full season. I don't know, matchup wise, I think it's a pretty good matchup for Purdue. I don't think Wisconsin has like crazy, except for Blackwell. They don't have like two dueling dragon wings like they had last season when they hung 100 at Mackey. I understand the money. I don't agree with it. I still don't think Purdue is. I don't think they're fully right yet.
Yeah, if you're gonna give me 10, Kai's the best bet. I'm actually
That's a
I
big
would take it
number
at
to
nine
give.
and a half also. Road revenge. Wisconsin got embarrassed at home because they couldn't make a three. Purdue kind of trounced them in that one. But man, Purdue isn't looking right. It is senior day for Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer and Trey Kaufman-Renn, so scared of the cresting crowd there. But Wisconsin's been pretty darn solid on the road all season long. Kai, I will take the Badgers getting 10 as another best bet.
All right, couple more, two more here, maybe three. Providence, Georgetown, Jim. Providence -1 on the road in the game of who cares? It's Cooley in English for the last time.
God, I have no idea. I think both these teams have kind of quit on the year, but then they both could have the motivation angle of their coach and playing for the coach. I don't know. Providence rolled over midweek, and perhaps they do the same thing here, but because the Cooley angle, I'm not willing to bet it. So this one is the ultimate. If you have an angle, go for it. I can't tell. I don't know.
All right, Matt, Sunbelt, Georgia Southern hit 23 threes against South Alabama. That's a real stat. They were 23 or 44. They're 2.5 point dogs to Coastal in the semis. Thoughts?
My number leans Georgia Southern, trying to account for the cumulative fatigue, which I think could catch up to them here. But Coastal's
Fourth
not
day
like
in 4
crazy
days.
fast.
Yeah.
4 days,
It's
4 and
crazy. They
4.
still have to win three more too.
And I mean, close. Like it's like I think the odds are still 3%. I looked at CVS, so it's like you won 4 and you're at a 3% chance to win. Like that's just
Yeah.
that's tough. Slightly in Coastal, I don't think that should be favored by 2.5. I think it should be closer to pick. I think Georgia Southern's a better team, but the spot obviously in the fatigue you have to. I think that has to factor in somewhat to your cap here. So I stayed away.
Both games this year went to overtime. Georgia Southern's hit 47 threes in the last 3 games.
They can shoot. We can
Oh,
shoot.
Oh,
can
South Alabama.
they?
I think Majeski tweeted they were 0 for 1 from 2 in the first half yesterday.
Yeah,
That's
0 for 1.
wow.
They
that's what
didn't even
South
take
Alabama
two.
does. It's like if you're white hot from 3, you're gonna get cooked. So
Uh,
that's the
all right,
They were
last
6 for 8 for the game.
that's wild.
It took 8 twos.
Last one at the buzzer, Jim. Portland, San Francisco. Portland's been like rolling to the WCC tourney right now. San Francisco's laying 8 points. I think they took a lot of money here too.
Yep.
Third game in 3 days for Portland. Yeah.
I think that seems to be the money, the cumulative effect of that. I like Portland. I think they're playing very well, and these kids are young. They're resilient. Eight's a lot for them. I think they
8
can
is
hang around.
high.
All right, Jim. Best bets.
All right, the ones I've given out are Miami, Florida -2, Cincy +2, Wisconsin +10, Virginia Tech +11.5. Going to add two more. New Mexico +7.5. Another road revenge game here. They lost at home to Utah State. Playing for the conference title would be a three-way share if New Mexico wins on the road. I'm not sure they win outright, but a touchdown is too many for me there. And then Kai, I know you did it with me in the Basket Under review bets, but Operation Fade Air Force has got one more and maybe two more, I guess, in the Mountain West tournament. One more operation to it. I don't know, one more,
More
I
mission.
don't know, battle. One more mission. Thank you, Matthew. Minus 24 and a half is what I had seen last. It is 25 and a half right now. I'll eat the extra point there. Top 100 team that somewhat mildly has stuff to play for against Air Force has been a win by 30 every single time. So give me Nevada minus 25 and a half at home.
Matthew, your best bets.
I said Mercer already. I said Colorado State already. I said Tennessee State. No, actually, I'm gonna holster that because I didn't love the five. That leaves me with one. Sorry, two more. Samford going against Richie Riley, which pains me, but I just think the Samford teams, I think they're just better right now.
Going against Bob Ritchie.
Bob
Richie.
Richie Riley. Sorry, what
Richie
did I say?
Riley's always on your
Richie
mind.
Riley.
Your boy.
Richie Riley. That'd be a good staff. And then I'm gonna take Idaho. Idaho, Kai.
Hi,
Yes.
I'm in Idaho.
Hi, I'm in Idaho, up in that's in Boise, I think. Starch Madness
It's in
kicks off today.
oh my God, Moscow.
Yo, very good. I'm just saying this tournament is in
Oh,
Boise.
I thought you meant where's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
school? It's in Moscow.
Very good. No, that was a good a hidden trivia question. I think
Yep.
Sacramento State away from their friendly confines is a different team. So it's sort of not road Sac State, but non-home Sac State is my fade angle here. In first half, Sac State's been kind of like a late game merchant garbage time. I don't think they're very good. So Idaho, better coach, better program, not at Sacramento.
All right, not to get political, do you think the Idaho people would change the name of Moscow, their town, which is the way they lean? I will go
Wow.
Wagner plus 8.5 is my best bet. Jim,
Very good,
I
Kai.
just bet them, Kai. I added
Wagner.
one more on them. I
Excellent.
like that one a lot.
I was just looking this up to support Matt's best bet. Sacramento State's away from home rating per Haslametrics is 354th in the country.
Is it that? I
They
didn't
are,
realize it was that bad. Yeah, no,
they
they
are much better at home than they are away from it. So there you go. And Kai, I hope you get an outright winner there. Give me Wagner in the title game with a. I only got 27 to 1. There was like freaking 100 to 1 out there at some point on DraftKings
I
for
didn't
Wagner.
take it.
But
So imagine my feeling, Jim.
yeah, sure. Okay, go Seahawks. All right, that wraps it up. Covered all 92 games. No, not quite, but we tried to get through as many as we
Wow.
could. Thank you, chat, for tuning in. Great questions. TBD on next weekend. I think there's only 20 games on Saturday. We might go earlier. We might do something shorter. We might not have a show at all. We will figure that out and let the people know. Follow us on Twitter for the update there. But happy spinny Saturday. Enjoy. Hope you win all your bets. And we got to punch some tickets today, at least
Hey,
one.
go Slew. Big one at Mason.